There's someone in your organization right now who is making very good money and is not, at this moment, worth what you're paying them. And before you name the person in your head, I want you to understand something. It is almost never the person you just thought of. The underperformer is visible. Somebody's already managing that person. There is a plan or at least a file for them. The one I'm talking about has never been in a file. They are the one everyone trusts, the one who has been there about 11 years, the one who, if they gave notice tomorrow, would set off a very quiet, very expensive panic. Welcome to Lena Speaks. I work with CEOs and senior leaders on the parts of leadership that do not show up on the dashboard. Today, we are going somewhere uncomfortable. And I want to say up front that this is not an episode about bad leaders. It's an episode about good ones, which is exactly why it's going to sting. Let's go. I want to tell you about a leader. I will call him Marcus. Marcus is a senior vice president, 22 years with the organization. He is the person the CEO calls when something is on fire, and he has never once said no. Every metric he owns is green. His last review had the word invaluable in it. His direct reports could not remember the last time they made a meaningful decision without checking. Not because he required it, because at some point, years ago, they learned that checking was faster than being wrong. 3 of his strongest people had been recruited away in 18 months. Every one of them left for a title 1 level above what Marcus had been able to give them. And when I asked his team what they would do differently if Marcus were out for a month, the room went completely silent. Not because they had no ideas, because they had never been asked. Now, nothing in that description is a performance problem. Marcus isn't failing. By every measure that the organization tracks, Marcus is excelling. He is also the most expensive person in the building, and his salary is not why. Here is the distinction I think most organizations have never made explicit. There is a difference between being needed and being valuable. Being needed means things stop without you. Being valuable means things start because of you. One of those builds an organization, the other builds dependency with an excellent compensation package. And the reason this is so hard to see from the inside is that being needed feels exactly like being valuable. It generates the same feedback. People thank you constantly. Your calendar is full. Your inbox is a monument to how much the place relies on you. None of that is evidence of contribution. All of it is evidence of routing. So here is the math I want you to run. Compensation is a record of the past. It reflects what someone was worth on the day you set it, based on a job that may no longer exist. Contribution is a claim on the future. It is what this person is building right now that will still be standing when they are not in the room. The distance between those two numbers is what I call the worth gap. And it is the most expensive line item in your organization precisely because it will never, ever appear on the P&L. Now, I want to defend Marcus for a minute because he deserves it. Marcus did not centralize out of ego. In every organization I have walked into, the overcentralized leader is usually the most loyal person in the building. Here is how it actually happens. There is a crisis, a vacancy, a merger, a year where the only reliable path through a decision is this one person. So everyone routes through them, and it works. It generally works. That part we forget. Then crisis ends and the routing does not. Nobody tells them to stop. In fact, we reward it. We call it ownership. We call it being a safe pair of hands. We give them more scope, which means more routing, which means a wider gap between what they cost and what they compound. This is not a character flaw. This is an organization that promoted someone in a role during an emergency and then never went back to redefine the job, which means the fix is not a performance conversation. The fix is a different conversation entirely. Before we get to that conversation, let me give you 4 things to look for. If you are a CEO or Chief People Officer, you can run this on your leadership team this afternoon. 1, every meaningful decision routes through one calendar. Watch how long things wait. If your organization's velocity is a function of one person's availability, you are not paying for judgment. You are paying for a bottleneck with a title. 2, their people leave well-trained and unpromoted. Track where your talent goes. If your strongest performers keep getting hired away at the next level up, somebody in your building is developing people beautifully for another company's org chart. 3, the room goes quiet when they walk in. And I need you to hear this clearly. Silence is not respect. Silence is risk. Your people have run the math on what happens when they disagree, and they have decided not to. And then 4, the team executes perfectly and initiates nothing. This is the one that gets missed because from the outside, it looks like excellence. Flawless delivery, zero origination. The team has done exactly what their leader has asked them to do without thinking about it. Here is the exercise I would like you to actually do this week, not just agree with. Take your 3 most senior leaders. For each one, finish this sentence in 10 words or less. Because this person is here, our organization can do this thing that it otherwise could not do. 10 words, no qualifiers, no, well, they handle a lot of things. If the sentence comes easily, protect that leader. Fund them, give them room. If you find yourself describing what they manage instead of what they make possible, sit with that. Do not rush past it, because that is not a compensation problem. That is a development problem. And development is significantly cheaper than a search firm. So what do you actually say to Marcus? A performance conversation asks, are you doing your job well? A worth conversation asks, is your job still the right job? Those sound familiar. They are not remotely the same conversation. And the second one is the one almost no senior leader has been offered in years. 3 questions to build it on. First, what are you uniquely positioned to build now, given that you have already proven you can run it? Not what you should keep doing, what you should start. Second, what are you holding that someone 2 levels down is ready to carry? And notice the framing, not what should be taken from you. What is someone else ready for? That is a very different question, and it lands very differently. Third, and this is the one I should not skip. What would have to be true for you to step away for 4 weeks and have this organization get faster, not slower? I know how that third one sounds. It sounds like a threat. It is the opposite. It is the most respectful question you can ask a senior leader because it assumes they are capable of a next version of themselves. Most executives have not been asked a genuine new question about their own role in a very, very long time. They are not defending their territory. They are just not sure anyone believes they can do anything else. Let me leave you with this. The goal is not to make your senior leaders smaller. The goal is to stop confusing gravity with contribution. A leader who holds everything is not strong. A leader who holds everything is a single point of failure that we have agreed collectively and politely not to name. Worth is not what a leader knows. Worth is what a leader makes possible in other people. So this week, run the 10-word test on all 3 of your most senior leaders. Write down the sentence and notice which ones you had to argue yourself into. That is where the work is. If this landed, share it with one person on your leadership team who needs to hear it and will not be offended by it. I'm at Authentic Encounters, where we take organizations from training to transformation. If you want help building the worth conversation into how your leadership team actually operates, that is the work we do, and there is a link below. I am glad you were here.